as we've said, we've seen a lot of significant change in social media use since lockdown, and we've all been working from home. And I suppose, what have you seen with that shows the different changes in behaviour and habits of B2B? So I don't know, Mike, do you want to deal with that one first, as someone who's sort of immersed in this on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, I mean, you know, to be honest, we've seen changes coming for a while now, and a lot of those changes, particularly with LinkedIn, relate to just, you know, how many people are on there trying to flog stuff to one another. That's, you know, that's really what it boils down to. So we're seeing more and more messages and things like that are just purely promotional, almost spammy, on a day-to-day basis. You know, I remember when I changed my job title officially on my profile to CEO, I instantly started getting bombarded by pitches for everybody selling me, you know, advertising through to just about any other business service you can imagine. And I think what we've seen in the pandemic is that's just massively escalated as more people, I think the stats are around 40% more sessions. So people are using LinkedIn around 40% more than they have been doing during the pandemic. And I think there's a lack of patience as well. We're all a bit frazzled. We're all stuck indoors. We're all unable to do the things we're used to doing. And so the last thing you want is a pitch dropping in your LinkedIn message box every single day. So I think we're seeing a few things kind of changing there around that.
And what sort of top tips have you got around how can people be a bit different, or how should they come across if they want to get a bit of cut through? What should they be doing differently?
Well, I think in the first instance, don't be too pitchy. You know, it's no different to offline networking. You know, you go and meet somebody at a mastermind or a networking group or something like that. If you get your brochure out and start pitching at them or your pitch deck, you're probably not going to end up being good friends with them by the end of the night. And the same is true on LinkedIn. There's nothing different there. So, you know, in actual fact, I say this a lot when I'm training on this stuff, but by being a bit more genuine, by being a bit more open, and just, you know, letting the world see what you can offer for them, it's a much more inbound experience, and you're going to differentiate because so many people are desperately trying to pitch like crazy and send all of these messages and stuff.
And Tiff, what have you seen during the pandemic with sort of social media habits?
Yeah, absolutely. It's really interesting picking up on what Mike shared with us, because actually there's been kind of almost like micro trends in the last 12 months of lockdown where people get into grips really fast with, you know, digital interactive technology and how they use digital and social media, and then actually getting a bit bored with it all and, you know, coming a little bit more away from it, certainly in terms of like, oh, I can't even be bothered to do a quiz with my friends on Zoom. I'm fed up. I've Zoomed all day. In terms of digital tech, certainly, but on social media particularly, yeah, like Mike, I mean, there's been a huge prevalence of it, and my kind of advice for people in this is find out what people need, you know, find out really and build rapport with people and what they want. How can you help them, not how can you bitch, obviously, but people will need different things at different stages of going through this pandemic out the other side and into whatever business as normal looks like the other side. So take trouble to find out what people need.
And Phil, any thoughts on this? You've got a lot of experience with persuasion and influence. How are people either misusing it, or how are they using it properly?
Well, I think I've seen more and more people using it properly. You know, the newspapers over many years have always talked about above the fold and creating the curiosity. If you go right back to the day when people used to sell newspapers on the street, the newspaper was always folded. You know, a full sheet newspaper was always folded. What's the headline? What's above the fold? What makes me want to pick the newspaper up and see? And for me on LinkedIn, not enough people are looking at above the fold. In other words, what's the curiosity? What's, you know, as Mike said, people have got not enough time now. You've got to, in 7, 8, 9 words, have a real curiosity, a real question mark. And then, in my words, in my view, the key thing is to be pithy. You've got to get your message in quickly, because we're not going to spend as much time on LinkedIn compared to the amount of material that is on LinkedIn as we used to. You've got to make it short and sweet.
So is the tip there, we should all start actually improving our copy and actually start thinking about our copy, rather than just trying to get our rather than features and benefits. It's like, well, what's that actual standout copy to grab the attention? What's the headline?
Dead right. And if you take what Tiff's saying, dead right. What is it that they're going to want to know? What am I going to be curious about? Give me a secret. Tell me there's going to be something special if I bother to click the read more. That's the key thing for me, or else people won't click read more.